This is my audience of three.
So if you've ever been a fan of rodeo or know anything about rodeo or even the Western way of life, you've probably heard about the Wright family. And their story starts back in a little town called Smith Mason, Utah, where their dad, Bill, runs about 20,000 acres of land and runs cattle on it. Well, Bill actually and his wife Evelyn have 13 children. Four or five of them really liked the rodeo, and the main one that liked the rodeo his name was Cody. And Cody began rodeoing, and as he became successful with his dad's help of teaching him how to work hard and strive at it, his brothers started getting successful too and following in his footsteps. Well, then that's where it all started. They all began to be really good at pro rodeo, and they all started chasing rodeos all over the country. And nowadays they're considered to go to almost over 100 rodeos a year in all but 3 of the states. And so as Cody got better, he began to win more and more money. So he stayed on the road constantly to help pour money back into his dad's ranch. And so did his brothers. And as they all got better at it, they all became this big new thing because there was 3 or 4 of them at a time in the National Finals Rodeo. And that was like a world record whenever there was 4 Wright brothers all in the same rodeo at the same time. And that was pretty cool. And their story really is still just getting even better because Cody has now had 4 brothers or 4 kids, and they're all brothers and they want a rodeo. And the oldest one's name is Rusty, the next one is Ryder, and Stetson and Statler are the 2 youngest. Well, Rusty and Ryder actually ended up making the NFR together with their dad Cody 2 years ago, and Ryder ended up beating his dad and winning the world title. So that was pretty cool. And then now Stetson and Rusty and Ryder and probably Jesse and Jake are probably all going to be in the NFR this year. And that's like a world record. That's crazy for 6 family members or something like that to be all together in the NFR, because it's really tough to make the NFR. So their story is just all based on rodeo, and the way that they go about every single rodeo, and they get hurt and they've had broken bones, and they call Cody the bionic human being in rodeo because he's broke almost every bone in his body. And so that's pretty cool to be able to see that he's still going and still competing against his kids. But his kids are starting to become really, really good at the sport, and it's kind of cool because the story is just going to constantly live on. And the more and more, it's like they just keep having boys. And as long as they keep having boys, you'll always hear about the Wright brothers, and they'll probably always be the greatest family in rodeo history.